Step into a gripping showdown. A 72-year-old black veteran mechanic defies crooked cops shaking him down in his small town. When they wreck his shop and slap cuffs on him with fake charges, he stares down a judge who framed him 40 years back. Enter his son, the FBI director, with a jaw-dropping reveal. Proof of corruption on tape. A hidden witness speaks. The town erupts, but a dark voice warns of more to come. Press play for a tense saga of courage clashing with secrets. The sun baked Carver's Crossing, Georgia, into a haze of dust and cicada hum. Isaiah Jackson, 72, leaned under the hood of a pickup in his shop, Jackson's Auto, hands steady despite the years. 2 tours, a Bronze Star, and 40 years turning wrenches had made this brick garage his fortress. Until July 17th, when officers Dale Mercer and Kyle Brantley rolled up. Mercer, lean and smirking, tapped his baton on the doorframe. "Hey, Isaiah. Shop's looking vulnerable. 300 a month keeps it standing." Brantley, stocky, with a buzz cut, grinned. Isaiah straightened, wiping grease on his overalls. "Extortion's what that is. I don't pay crooks." Mercer's eyes narrowed. "Suit yourself, old man." They peeled out, leaving a threat in the air. That night, glass crashed. Isaiah found his shop gutted, windows smashed, tires slashed, "Pay up" in red paint across the wall. He called 911, but Mercer and Brantley answered, badges glinting. "You swung at us, Isaiah," Mercer lied, cuffing him. "Assaulting an officer," Brantley added. Isaiah's voice was steel. "You're framing me." The cuffs bit as they dragged him off, neighbors peering from porches. The jail cell stank of mildew, cot creaking under his weight. Morning brought him to the courthouse, a peeling monument where Judge Harlan Tate, 85, still presided. Isaiah's chest tightened. Tate had railroaded him in 83, pinning a robbery he didn't commit, stealing 5 years. Paroled at 30, he'd rebuilt. Now, Tate's watery eyes met his. "Assault, resisting arrest," Tate rasped. "Plead." Isaiah gripped his cane. "Not guilty, they're liars, and you've got history with me." The gallery, Miss Clara. Mr. Phelps, old-timers buzzed. Mercer swaggered up. "He hit me, fought us off," Brantley nodded. Isaiah's lawyer, Ellis, a twitchy kid, fumbled. "No marks on them, Your Honor." Tate smirked. "Trial tomorrow." Isaiah sat, staring Tate down. Same game, 40 years later. What had Isaiah kicked up, and how far would they push? Isaiah spent the night on that jail cot, the damp air seeping into his bones. He traced the cane's worn handle, mind drifting to 8329, accused of robbing a hardware store he'd never stepped foot in. Tate, younger then, but just as cold, had ignored shaky witnesses. A flimsy lineup. 5 years in a cell, then parole. He'd come home to whispers, rebuilt with grease and grit. Now, at 72, the same judge stared him down. History wasn't just repeating, it was clawing back. Dawn broke sticky and gray. The guard barked. "Court, Jackson." Isaiah limped into the patrol car. Carver's Crossing, sliding past sagging oaks, the feed store, eyes behind blinds. The courthouse gallery swelled, Miss Clara in her Sunday hat, Mr. Phelps gripping his walker. Folks who'd bought tires from him for decades. Judge Tate banged his gavel, face a mask of wrinkles and spite. "State your case," he snapped. Mercer took the stand, voice oily. "Responded to vandalism. Jackson came at us fist to my face." Brantley backed him, kept swinging, shouting threats. Ellis, the lawyer, adjusted his glasses, nervous. "No bruises on the officers, Your Honor. And the shop trashed hours earlier. Why'd they wait?" Tate's lip twitched. Irrelevant. Defendant's turn. Isaiah rose, cane tapping, voice steady. "They demanded $300 protection. I refused. That night, my shop's hit. They show up, lie about assault. Same as you did, Judge, 40 years back." The gallery erupted, gasps, murmurs. Tate's gavel slammed. "Silence! Stick to now, Jackson!" But Isaiah caught it. A crack in Tate's glare. Fear. Outside, the town buzzed. Miss Clara whispered to Phelps. "Saw Brantley at the diner. Laughing, old man's done," he said. Phelps frowned. Isaiah's no quitter. In the holding room, Isaiah sipped stale coffee, mind sharp. Tate's rush to shut him up, too familiar. Ellis slipped in. "They're tight on this. No witnesses yet." Isaiah nodded. "They'll trip. Hammer the vandalism." That evening, Mercer paced the jail lot, phone pressed to his ear. "He's mouthing off about 83. Shut it down." A gravelly voice replied. "Tomorrow. Clean." Isaiah watched through the bars, pulse steady. Who was Mercer scared of? The next morning draped Carver's Crossing in a muggy haze, the courthouse steps slick with dew. Isaiah shuffled in, cane steady, past a gallery packed tight. Miss Clara clutching her purse, Mr. Phelps whispering to a neighbor, eyes darting. Word had spread. Isaiah wasn't bending. Judge Tate settled into his perch, gavel poised, voice sharp. "Day 2. Proceed." Mercer swaggered back, doubling down. "He lunged at us. Wild. Damn near broke my nose." Brantley nodded. "Had to wrestle him down." Ellis cleared his throat, shaky, but prodded by Isaiah's glare. "Your Honor, no medical report shows injuries. And the vandalism called in at 2 a.m., but they didn't arrest him till 8. Where's the proof he fought?" Tate's eyes narrowed. "Testimony's proof enough." Isaiah stood, voice cutting through. "No, it ain't. They shook me down for cash $300. I said no, so they trashed my shop and pinned this on me. Just like you pinned that robbery in 83, Judge. Same lies, same playbook." The gallery erupted shouts, a dropped hymnal clanging. Tate's gavel pounded, face red. "Order! One more outburst, Jackson, and it's contempt." But Isaiah held his ground. "Truth ain't contempt. Ask 'em, where's the vandalism report? Why'd they wait 6 hours? Mercer shifted. Brantley's smirk faltered. Tate snapped. "Recess, 30 minutes. The room buzzed as he stormed off, robes flapping. In the holding room, Isaiah sat, cane across his lap, mind racing. Tate's flush panic, not just anger. Ellis hovered. "They're rattled, but Tate's digging in. We need more." Isaiah nodded slow. "They'll crack. Keep pushing." Outside, Miss Clara cornered Phelps by the steps. "Heard Mercer on his phone last night. Sounded scared. Said he's bringing up the past." Phelps frowned. "Tate's past too, I reckon." Back in session, Brantley fumbled under Ellis's questions. We secured the scene. First took time." Isaiah leaned in, whispering, "Ask about the paint." Ellis blinked, then pressed. "Red paint on the wall. Any on your uniforms?" Brantley stammered. "No, we stayed clear." Isaiah's voice rose. "Clear of a fight, too? No paint, no bruises, your story's thin." The gallery murmured, Tate's gavel hovering. That night, Brantley slipped into an alley behind the precinct, phone trembling. "He's tearing it apart. 83's coming up. What now?" A voice rasped. "Tomorrow ends it. Stay sharp." Isaiah, from his cell, caught headlights flashing past. Trouble was closing in. What was Tate hiding? And who'd strike first? Day 3 dawned thick with humidity. The courthouse a pressure cooker. Isaiah limped in, cane tapping a steady rhythm. The gallery overflowing, Miss Clara fanning herself, Mr. Phelps leaning forward, townsfolk whispering about 83. Judge Tate banged his gavel, eyes bloodshot. "Order! State, wrap it up." Mercer took the stand again, voice tight. "He's lying attacked us, plain as day. Dangerous man." Brantley nodded, but his hands fidgeted. Ellis, bolstered by Isaiah's calm stare, pressed hard. "No paint, no bruises. 6 hours unaccounted. Where's your evidence?" Mercer snapped. "Our word's enough." Isaiah stood, voice like gravel over steel. "Your word's dirt. Extorted me. $300 or my shop pays." "It paid, all right." "Smashed to hell. Then you frame me like Tate framed me 40 years ago. Robbery. I never did. 5 years stolen. History's loud today, Judge. The gallery roared, chairs scraped, voices surged. Tate's gavel crashed, face purple. Silence! Jackson, you're done! But Isaiah didn't flinch. Ask him where's the vandalism log. Who'd they call at 2 a.m.? Mercer's jaw twitched. Brantley's eyes darted to Tate. The judge barked, "Recess now!" and bolted, leaving a stunned room. In the hall, Miss Clara clutched Phelps's arm. Saw Brantley last night, nervous, pacing by the diner. Muttered something about fixing it. Phelps nodded. Tate's rattle-too looked like a ghost when Isaiah spoke. In the holding room, Isaiah sipped water, pulse even. Ellis paced. They're crumbling, but Tate's fighting. We need a witness. Isaiah's eyes narrowed. One's coming. Wait. Outside, Mercer hissed into his phone by the precinct. He's dragging up 83 whole towns listening. We're cooked, the voice growled. End it today. No slips. Brantley joined him, pale. Tate's losing it, keeps muttering about loose ends. They split. Boots quick on asphalt. Court resumed, air electric. Tate glared. Final statements. Ellis started, shaky but clear. No proof, just lies from officers with motive. Then the doors swung open. A man strode in 50, black, suit crisp, badge gleaming. Gasps rippled. Isaiah's lips twitched, a faint smile. Your Honor, the man boomed. I'm Daniel Jackson, FBI director. My father's no criminal, these officers are. He held up a recorder. Press play. Mercer's voice. 300 or your shop's done. Brantley's laugh. The gallery exploded. Shouts, cries. Tate froze, gavel slipping. This is outrageous, Daniel cut in. Outrageous as you convicting him in 83 on nothing. I've got files, witnesses bullied, evidence buried. You're done. Mercer lunged up. That's fake! But an elderly woman, Miss Ruth, frail in a shawl, stood. No, it ain't. I saw that robbery in 83, told Tate it wasn't Isaiah. He threatened me silent. Chaos yells, cameras flashing. What had Daniel unleashed? And could Tate outrun it? The courthouse trembled with noise shouts, stomping feet. The recorder's echo of Mercer's sneer still hanging in the air. Isaiah sat, cane firm, eyes locked on Daniel, his son, the FBI director who'd just torn the roof off 40 years of lies. Tate gripped the bench, knuckles white, voice a croak. This is a circus. Sit down, all of you. But the gallery wouldn't hush. Miss Clara stood, clapping. Mr. Phelps hollered. Truth's out! Daniel stepped forward, calm as a storm's eye. Not a circus, Judge. Justice. You buried my father in 83, threatened witnesses, cooked evidence. I've got the files. And this, he waved the recorder. Extortion, caught live. Mercer sprang up, face red. That's doctored. He's framing us. Brantley nodded, wild-eyed. Yeah, FBI trick. But Miss Ruth, trembling but fierce, shuffled to the front. Ain't no trick. I was there in 83, saw. 2 white boys robbed that store. Not Isaiah. Told Tate, begged him. He said I'd lose my home if I talked. Been carrying that 40 years. Her voice broke, and the room stilled, then roared again, fury and tears. Tate banged his gavel, frail arm shaking. Order, damn it, this is my court. Daniel's voice cut through. Not anymore. FBI's got your rulings, your payoffs, decades of dirt, and these officers? Arrested as we speak. 2 federal agents strode in, badges flashing, cuffing Mercer and Brantley mid-protest. This is bullshit, Mercer yelled, thrashing. Brantley sagged, muttering. We're done. Isaiah rose, cane tapping, and faced Tate. You stole 5 years. Nearly took more. Look at me now. Tate's eyes darted, trapped, wild. The gallery surged, folks, spilling into the aisle, chanting, Justice! Justice! Miss Clara hugged Miss Ruth, sobbing. You did it, girl! Mr. Phelps banged his walker, grinning. Ellis, the lawyer, gaped, tie askew. Daniel crossed to Isaiah, hand on his shoulder. Sorry it took so long, Pop. Isaiah's voice was soft. You're here now. Tate slumped, gavel falling. Recess, he rasped, fleeing to his chambers. The room pulsed anger, relief, a town waking up. Outside, news vans rolled in, cameras swarming. Mercer and Brantley were shoved into a black SUV, faces pale. Isaiah stepped into the sun, Daniel beside him, crowd cheering. But his eyes scanned, something lingered. What price would Tate pay? And who else knew his secrets? The courthouse doors swung shut behind Isaiah, the cheers of Carver's Crossing ringing in his ears. He leaned on his cane, the sun hot on his face, Daniel's hand steady on his arm. 72 years. 2 wars, a wrongful conviction, and now this freedom, loud and real. Miss Clara rushed up, tears streaking her powder. You showed him, Isaiah. Mr. Phelps hobbled over, grinning. Knew you had it in ya. The crowd swelled neighbors, customers. Kids who'd never known 83 chanting his name like a hymn. Inside, Tate's chambers were dark, blinds snapped shut. He sat, hands trembling, staring at a framed photo him, younger, shaking hands with a man in a slick suit. The phone rang. He flinched, answered. It's over, he croaked. A voice low and smooth replied. Not yet, Harlan. You talk, you sink us all. Click. Tate's breath hitched. He fumbled a drawer, pulled a flask, and drank deep. Loose ends, too many. Outside, Daniel guided Isaiah to a bench. Feds are digging Tate's files, payoffs from the 80s. Mercer and Brantley rolled over, already pointing fingers at him. Isaiah nodded, slow. They're small fry. Tate's the root. Daniel's jaw tightened. Root's got branches. That recording, I got it from a tip. Someone's still out there, Pop. Isaiah's eyes narrowed. Same someone who kept Tate on that bench? The black SUV peeled off with Mercer and Brantley, sirens fading. News crews swarmed, mics thrust at Isaiah. How's it feel, Mr. Jackson? He paused, voice gravelly. Feels like 40 years late, but it's a start. The crowd roared again, but Isaiah scanned the faces. Miss Ruth, wiping her eyes, nodded at him. She'd broken her silence. Who else might? That night, Jackson's auto glowed under new bulbs. Neighbors had swept glass, patched tires, scrubbed paint. Miss Clara brought pie, Phelps a thermos of coffee. Daniel sat with Isaiah on the shop steps, crickets humming. FBI's got Tate tomorrow arraignment, Daniel said. He'll squirm, but we'll squeeze. Isaiah sipped coffee. He's scared of more than you. That call Mercer made, someone bigger's watching. Dawn broke quiet. Isaiah woke to a brick through his window. Keep quiet, scratched on it. Daniel found it, face grim. They're not done. Isaiah gripped his cane. Neither am I. The town rallied vigils, petitions, but a shadow lingered. Tate faced cuffs, yet the voice on the phone stayed free. Isaiah fixed a carburetor, eyes on the road. Who'd throw next? The days blurred in Carver's Crossing after Tate's fall. Isaiah sat in his shop, tools clinking. The hum of a radio cutting through the stillness. The brick. Keep quiet lay on his workbench, a jagged reminder. Daniel had it bagged for the feds, but no prints, no leads. Tate's arraignment came fast-cuffed in his own courthouse. He pled not guilty, lips sealed about that phone call. Mercer and Brantley sang, pinning vandalism and extortion on his orders. But their eyes darted like they feared more than jail. The town stitched itself together. Miss Clara organized a cleanup crew. Mr. Phelps rallied folks to guard Jackson's auto. Miss Ruth spoke at the church, voice steady now. I waited 40 years to right that wrong. Ain't waiting no more. Her words lit a fire, petitions piled up, demanding Tate's old cases reopened. News vans lingered, headlines screaming corruption crumbles. Isaiah watched from his stoop, cane tapping, Daniel at his side. FBI's got a thread, Daniel said. That tip traced to a burner in Atlanta. Someone high up's nervous. Isaiah nodded, slow. High up kept Tate fat all these years. Same one who framed me in '83? Daniel's jaw tightened. Maybe. We're digging old money, quiet power. But they're deep. Isaiah's eyes traced the horizon pecan trees, swaying, heat shimmering. Deep don't mean untouchable. That night, a vigil glowed outside the shop, candles flickering, voices singing Amazing Grace. Isaiah stood among them, Miss Clara's pie warm in his hands, kids tugging his sleeve. Daniel whispered, "You're a hero, Pop." Isaiah grunted. Just an old man who didn't break, but his chest swelled. 40 years of whispers turned to cheers. Yet sleep brought dreams of 83 cell bars. Tate's smirk, a voice he couldn't place. Morning broke with a phone call, unknown number. Isaiah answered, silent. A rasp. "You won the battle, Jackson. War's still mine." Click. He stared at the receiver, then the brick. Daniel found him there, eyes sharp. "Who?" Isaiah shrugged. "Ghost." The feds chased Atlanta, Tate faced trial, but that voice haunted smooth, untouchable, waiting. Isaiah fixed a radiator, shop, bustling neighbors, new customers' life. The town stood with him, but the road stretched beyond. He gripped his cane, gaze steady. A war lingered. When would it strike? Thank you all for watching this video. Please comment, and let me know what you think about this story. Please like and subscribe to watch more great content on my channel.